Dear Chosen One, something has shifted in the spiritual realm, and you can feel it. The voices that once whispered your name in dark corners have fallen silent. The people who built their conversations around tearing you down now stumble over their words when your name is mentioned. This is not coincidence. This is not mercy. This is fear. They are afraid to speak against you because God has begun to reveal something to them that terrifies their very souls. They see it now, even if they refuse to admit it. Every attack they launched against you has mysteriously failed. Every trap they set has caught them instead. Every lie they spread has boomeranged back to their own reputation. They wanted to watch you fall, but instead, they have been forced to witness your rise. And in that witnessing, something has awakened in them, a knowing they cannot escape. You are not who they thought you were. You are protected by something far greater than they can comprehend. This is the moment of divine exposure, Chosen One. God is not revealing your enemies to you. He is revealing the truth about you to them. And that truth is shaking them to their core. They feel the weight of every word they spoke against you. They sense the spiritual consequences of standing against someone marked by the divine. The silence you hear is not peace. It is the sound of fear. And today, you will understand why God allowed you to walk through their whispers so you could stand tall in their silence. If this message touches your spirit, let me know by typing the word protected in the comments as a way of affirming your shield of protection from God. Take this moment to like the video and subscribe to the channel to grow the community of the Chosen Ones. And if you are ready to fully embrace your spiritual and financial abundance, check out the link in the description for the ebook, The Call to Prosperity, a step-by-step manual to activate the prosperity that is already yours. You can purchase it right now. Listen closely, because what I am about to tell you will make everything make sense. The silence surrounding you is not random. It is a symptom of a spiritual shift that is happening in the hearts of those who opposed you. They are experiencing something they cannot name, a discomfort that rises every time they think about speaking against you. It is as if an invisible hand covers their mouth before the words can form. They do not understand it yet, but you do. This is God intervening on your behalf in ways you never asked for, but desperately needed. He is not shouting from the heavens to defend you. He is whispering into the conscience of every person who tried to destroy you. And that whisper is more powerful than any public vindication you could have orchestrated yourself. It is personal. It is penetrating. And it is undeniable. Think about it, Chosen One. How many times did you want to defend yourself? How many nights did you lie awake replaying their words, crafting responses you would never send? You wanted justice. You wanted them to see the truth. But God said, "Not yet. Not your way. My way." And His way has always been to let your life speak louder than your words ever could. He has been building a case in the spirit realm while you have been building character in the natural. Now the evidence is undeniable. They are watching you thrive in spaces they said you did not belong. They are seeing doors open for you that they swore were locked forever. They are witnessing favor follow you into rooms where you were once rejected. And every single time they see it, something inside them shifts. It is not admiration, not yet. It is recognition mixed with fear. They are beginning to realize you were never the problem. They were. God has a way of turning your enemies into witnesses. He does not need to punish them publicly. He simply allows them to watch His hand move in your life, and that alone becomes their torment. Because deep down, they know. They know you did not deserve what they did to you. They know their words were laced with jealousy, insecurity, and spite. And now they are watching the very thing they tried to kill flourish right before their eyes. The universe does not miss a thing, chosen one. Every whispered insult, every twisted truth, every character assassination. It was all recorded in the spiritual ledgers. And God, in His perfect timing, has begun to play it back, not to you, but to them. They are being confronted with their own actions in ways that do not require your voice. Their own conscience has become their courtroom, and the verdict is guilty. That is why they are silent now. You might have noticed strange patterns. People who used to gossip about you now avoid eye contact. Conversations that once flowed with venom now stutter and die when your name is mentioned. Former friends who turned against you suddenly speak with hesitation, as if they are afraid of what might happen if they go too far. This is not paranoia on their part. This is spiritual awareness breaking through their hardened hearts. They have started seeing things they cannot explain, synchronicities that point back to you, dreams that disturb their sleep, moments where they feel an inexplicable guilt or heaviness when they think about what they did. Some of them have even tried to rationalize it away, convincing themselves it is all in their head. But it keeps happening. The signs keep coming. And slowly, terrifyingly, they are being forced to accept the truth. You are divinely protected. This is not about you being perfect, chosen one. This is about you being chosen. There is a difference. God did not pick you because you had it all together. He picked you because He saw something in you that the world overlooked. He saw resilience in your brokenness. He saw faith in your questions. He saw glory in your struggle. And He marked you as His own. That mark is what they are sensing now, even if they do not have the spiritual vocabulary to name it. Every attack they launched was an attempt to erase that mark, to prove that you were not special, that you were not protected, that you were just like everyone else. But God would not allow it. Every weapon formed against you did not just fail, it backfired. And now they are left standing in the aftermath of their own schemes, confused and afraid, because nothing they tried worked. And that is the scariest realization of all for someone who opposed a chosen one. Let me tell you what is happening in the Spirit. There is a divine reckoning taking place. Not the loud, dramatic kind that humans expect, but the quiet, penetrating kind that changes people from the inside out. God is giving them a chance to see what they have done, to feel the weight of it, and to choose differently moving forward. This is grace in disguise. It may feel like justice to you, but it is actually mercy for them. And here is the part that will blow your mind. You do not have to do anything. You do not have to confront them. You do not have to demand apologies. You do not have to prove your worth. All you have to do is keep walking in your purpose, keep growing in your faith, and keep trusting that God sees everything. Your obedience to your calling is the loudest statement you could ever make. It is a declaration that no weapon formed against you will prosper, and that includes the weapon of slander. They thought they could stop you with words. They believed that if they damaged your reputation enough, you would give up, shrink back, disappear into obscurity. But you did not. You kept showing up. You kept believing. You kept moving forward even when it hurt. And that perseverance has become your testimony. It is the evidence that you are not operating on human strength alone. There is a supernatural grace holding you up, and they can see it now. So when they fall silent, do not mistake it for peace. It is not peace. It is fear. It is the fear of realizing they have been on the wrong side of a divine story. It is the fear of understanding that their words carried weight in the spiritual realm, and now that weight is pressing back on them, It is the fear of knowing that God keeps perfect records, and nothing they did in secret has stayed secret in His sight. The silence is their soul trying to protect them from digging a deeper hole. God does not operate the way humans expect Him to. We want lightning bolts and public humiliation for our enemies. We want them exposed in front of everyone who believed their lies. We want vindication that is loud and undeniable. But God, in His infinite wisdom, often chooses a different path. He teaches through the heart. He transforms through the conscience. And He exposes through internal revelation rather than external drama. This is what is happening to those who spoke against you. God is not destroying them. He is teaching them. He is allowing them to see, feel, and experience the consequences of opposing someone under divine protection. And that education is far more powerful than any public confrontation could ever be. Because when God teaches, the lesson sticks. It rewrites the soul. It changes the trajectory of a life. And sometimes it even turns an enemy into a testimony. Think about the dreams they are having. You will never hear about most of them. But trust me, they are happening. In the quiet hours of the night, when the mind is unguarded and the spirit is vulnerable, God is speaking. He is showing them scenes from your life that they never knew about. He is revealing the pain their words caused. He is replaying moments where you cried alone, fought battles in secret, and chose faith when giving up would have been easier. These dreams are not meant to torment them, though they may feel that way. They are meant to awaken compassion, to break through the hardness that jealousy and insecurity built around their hearts. God is giving them a glimpse of your humanity, the parts of you they refused to see when they were busy tearing you down. And in seeing it, something inside them cracks. The armor of justification falls away, and they are left naked with the truth. You did not deserve what they did. But dreams are not the only tool God is using. He is also orchestrating synchronicities, moments that are too specific to be coincidence. They hear your name in a song. They see your face in a crowd. They stumble across an old message or memory that reminds them of who you really are. And every single time it happens, there is a tug in their spirit, a discomfort that will not let them rest. It is God refusing to let them forget. Some of them have tried to shake it off. They have convinced themselves that they were right to distance themselves from you, that they had valid reasons for their actions. They have built entire narratives to justify their betrayal. But God is dismantling those narratives brick by brick. He is showing them the cracks in their logic, the holes in their accusations, and the selfishness behind their motives. And that dismantling is terrifying because it forces them to face their own shadows. Here is the thing about spiritual awakening, chosen one. It is not always pretty. It is uncomfortable. It challenges everything you thought you knew about yourself. And when God wakes someone up to the truth of what they have done, it can feel like an earthquake in their soul. Everything they built their identity on starts to shake. And the only way to find solid ground again is to admit they were wrong. That is where the fear comes from. Not fear of you, fear of facing themselves. God is also giving them front row seats to your blessings. They cannot avoid it. Every time they check social media, there you are, glowing with a peace they do not understand. Every time they hear through the grapevine, it is another story of a door that opened for you, a breakthrough you experienced, a testimony of grace in your life. And it eats at them, not because they hate you, but because they are being forced to witness the very thing they tried to prevent, your success. This is divine irony at its finest. The people who wanted to see you fail are now the ones who cannot look away from your rise. and every glimpse of your progress is a sermon they did not sign up for but cannot escape. It is God preaching to them through your life, saying, "See what happens when you trust me? See what I do for those who remain faithful despite the attacks? See what you could have celebrated if you had chosen love instead of envy?" The transformation of their perception is gradual, but undeniable. Where they once saw weakness, they now see strength. Where they once saw naivety, they now see wisdom. Where they once saw someone to be pitied or mocked, they now see someone to be cautiously respected. This shift is not something they wanted. It is something they cannot help. Because truth has a way of breaking through even the most stubborn resistance when God is the one revealing it. And here is where it gets deep, chosen one. God is not just showing them who you are. He is showing them who they are. He is holding up a mirror to their souls, forcing them to see the jealousy, the insecurity, the bitterness that motivated their actions. And that reflection is painful. It is humbling. It is the kind of truth that makes you want to run and hide. But God does not let them hide. He keeps the mirror steady until they look, until they really see. Some of them are starting to feel the weight of karma, not in a punitive sense, but in an educational one. The energy they sent out is coming back to them in ways that teach rather than destroy. They find themselves on the receiving end of gossip. They experience betrayal from people they trusted. They feel the sting of being misunderstood or misrepresented. And in those moments, if they are paying attention, they will remember what they did to you. They will feel what you felt. And that is when true remorse begins. But not all of them will reach that point of remorse. And that is okay. Your healing is not dependent on their apology. Your victory is not contingent on their acknowledgement. God is doing a work in them for their sake, not yours. You have already moved forward. You have already stepped into the next chapter of your story. Whether they catch up or not is between them and God. Your only job is to keep walking in the light, to keep being a living example of what grace looks like in human form. This is the beauty of divine pedagogy, chosen one. It is patient. It is thorough. It does not rush. God is not interested in quick fixes or surface-level apologies. He is interested in heart transformation. And sometimes that takes time. Sometimes it takes a series of wake-up calls, a collection of uncomfortable truths, and a slow unraveling of lies before someone is ready to truly change. God knows how to pace the process. He knows exactly how much pressure to apply and when to back off. Trust Him with it. While they were busy talking, you were busy building. While they were consumed with tearing you down, you were focused on rising up. While they gathered in circles to discuss your flaws, you were in your prayer closet asking God to refine you. That is the difference between a chosen one and everyone else. You understood that the real battle was not against flesh and blood. It was against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of darkness. And you fought accordingly. You did not waste energy defending yourself in group chats. You did not scroll through comments looking for validation. You did not try to control the narrative or manipulate public opinion. You simply kept your head down and your faith up. You worked when no one was watching. You studied when they thought you were defeated. You planted seeds in secret that are now blooming in public. And that is why they are silent. Because your life has become the rebuttal they cannot argue with. Let me tell you about the doors that opened for you. Some of them you prayed for. Some of them you did not even know existed until you walked through them. But every single one of them came at a time when your enemies were convinced you were finished. They were celebrating your perceived downfall, toasting to your demise, and planning how they would divide the spoils of your failure. But God Those two words change everything. But God had other plans. He opened doors that no man could shut. He made connections that defied logic. He provided resources that seemed to appear out of nowhere. He gave you favor in places where you had no history, no network, no leverage. And it all happened while they were still whispering about your past. That is the power of divine timing. It does not wait for permission. It does not need perfect conditions. It just shows up and rearranges reality in your favor. Do you remember the job you got when they said you were unemployable? The relationship that flourished when they said you were unlovable? The business that succeeded when they said you had no talent? The healing that came when they said your pain was permanent? Every single one of those victories was God making a statement. He was saying, "My child does not need your approval, your belief, or your support. I am enough, and I will prove it through their life." And oh, how He has proven it. The people who said you would never amount to anything are now watching you exceed their own accomplishments. The ones who said you were too broken to be used by God are now seeing Him use your brokenness as a testimony that sets others free. The voices that declared you finished are now forced to acknowledge that you are just getting started. This is not luck, chosen one. This is divine orchestration at its finest. But here is what they did not count on: your humility through it all. You did not gloat. You did not post petty subliminal messages aimed at them. You did not throw your success in their faces or demand that they acknowledge their mistakes. You just kept walking, kept thanking God, and kept helping others who were going through what you survived. That grace, that maturity, that refusal to stoop to their level, it has been part of your testimony too, and it has made your victories even more powerful, because when you win with grace, it is undeniable. When you succeed without needing to prove anything to anyone, it speaks volumes. When you rise without dragging others down, it reveals the character that God has been building in you all along. Your enemies wanted you to become bitter, to lash out, to prove their narrative that you were the problem. But you did not give them that satisfaction. You let your peace be your power. And that has confused them more than anything else. They expected you to fight back. They were prepared for retaliation. They had their defenses ready, their justifications rehearsed, their counterattacks planned. But you never came at them. You never engaged. You just kept glowing, kept growing, and kept going. And that non-reaction has been more disturbing to them than any confrontation could have been, because it meant you were operating on a level they could not reach. You were tapped into a source of strength they did not have access to. Every blessing that landed in your lap was a message to them. Every opportunity that came your way was a reminder that God was with you. Every testimony you shared was evidence that their words did not have the final say. And the accumulation of all these moments has created an undeniable reality. You are favored, you are protected, and you are unstoppable. Not because you are perfect, but because the one who called you is faithful to complete what He started. Think about the protection you have had that you did not even recognize at the time. The accidents you almost had, but did not. The toxic situations you were removed from before they could destroy you. The wrong relationships that ended before they could lead you astray. The financial disasters you narrowly avoided. The health crises that could have taken you out, but did not. All of it was divine intervention. God was guarding you even when you felt most vulnerable. Your enemies do not know the half of what God has done behind the scenes. They only see the surface, the visible blessings, the public victories. But you know the truth. You know about the miracles that happened in private. You know about the times God showed up in your darkest moments and whispered, "I am still here. I have not forgotten you. I am working everything out for your good. Those intimate encounters with the divine are what have sustained you, and they are what have made you untouchable. Now all those private victories are becoming public testimonies. The seeds you planted in secret are bearing fruit in the open. The character you built in the hidden place is being revealed in the marketplace. The faith you exercised when no one was watching is now being witnessed by everyone. And your enemies, the ones who thought they knew your story, are realizing they only saw one chapter. They missed the part where God was writing a comeback that would leave them speechless. This is your season of vindication, chosen one. Not the loud, flashy kind that seeks revenge, but the quiet, powerful kind that simply reveals truth. You do not need to say a word. Your life is speaking. Your blessings are testifying. Your peace is preaching. And your presence, your very existence, has become a reminder that God defends His own. That is why they are afraid to speak now. Because every time they see you, they see the evidence of a God who keeps His promises. There is a paralysis that comes over people when they realize they have opposed someone under divine protection. It is not physical. It is spiritual. It is the kind of freeze that happens when you suddenly understand the magnitude of what you have done. They want to continue their campaign against you. Part of them still wants to find something, anything, to justify their past behavior. But they cannot move. Something stops them. Every single time. It is as if there is an invisible barrier between their thoughts and their words. They open their mouth to speak, and nothing comes out. They start to type a message, and something tells them to delete it. They sit in circles with other gossips, and your name comes up, but suddenly the energy shifts and the conversation dies. This is not coincidence. This is not social awkwardness. This is the hand of God literally shutting mouths that were ordained to stay closed. Do you know what that means for you, chosen one? It means the battle was never yours to fight. All those sleepless nights you spent worrying about what they were saying, all those moments you wanted to defend yourself but felt restrained, all those times you cried out to God, asking why He was not doing something, He was. He was fighting in ways you could not see. He was moving in rooms you were not invited to. He was silencing voices in real time while you were building your future. This is the war you did not know was happening. While you were focused on surviving, God was busy strategizing. While you were trying to heal, He was busy handling your enemies. While you were learning to trust Him, He was busy proving why you could. You thought you were walking through this alone, but you were never alone. There was always a battle raging in the heavens on your behalf. And you are now seeing the results of a war that God won without you having to lift a finger. Let that sink in for a moment. You did not have to fight. You did not have to scheme. You did not have to manipulate or control or force anything. You just had to trust. You just had to keep showing up. You just had to remain faithful to the call on your life, even when it felt like no one understood. And while you were doing that simple yet profound act of obedience, God was orchestrating a victory so complete that your enemies are now afraid to even whisper your name. Think about the weight of that. The same people who made you the topic of their conversations now avoid mentioning you at all. The ones who found pleasure in picking apart your life now find discomfort in even thinking about you. They have become prisoners of their own conscience. And the bars of that prison were built by the very words they spoke against you. God has turned their weapon into their cage. Their tongue, which they used as a sword against you, has now become the chain that binds them. This is biblical justice, not the kind that destroys, but the kind that teaches, not the kind that seeks revenge, but the kind that demands reflection. God is giving them a chance to see what they have become. He is showing them the ugliness of their own actions. And in that showing, He is offering them an opportunity to change. But that change requires them to face the truth. And the truth is this: they were wrong about you. Dead wrong. That realization is what terrifies them. Because to admit they were wrong means they have to dismantle the entire narrative they built. It means they have to acknowledge that the problem was never you. It was their own insecurity. It was their own jealousy. It was their own inability to celebrate someone else's blessing. It was them projecting their pain onto you because you had the courage to walk in freedom while they chose to stay in bondage. And that is a hard pill to swallow. But whether they swallow it or not is not your concern anymore. You have moved past the need for their validation. You have outgrown the desire for their approval. You have evolved beyond the space where their opinion of you matters. You know who you are. You know whose you are. And you know that no amount of slander, gossip, or betrayal can change the identity that God Himself has given you. You are chosen. You are covered. You are called. And nothing they said or did could ever alter that truth. This is the moment where you realize the power of staying silent. All those times you wanted to clap back, all those moments you drafted the perfect response but never sent it, all those instances where you felt weak for not defending yourself, you were actually operating in the highest form of strength. You were trusting God to fight for you. And He did. Oh, how He did. He fought in ways that left no room for debate. He fought in ways that made His presence undeniable. Your enemies now carry the burden of knowing they opposed the divine. That is not a light thing. That is a soul-shaking, life-altering realization. Some of them are experiencing physical manifestations of this spiritual weight. They are having trouble sleeping. They are feeling anxious for no apparent reason. They are sensing a heaviness they cannot explain. This is not God punishing them. This is their spirit trying to get their attention, begging them to make it right before it is too late. And here is where your heart has to make a decision. You can hold on to bitterness and watch them struggle, or you can release them in your spirit and allow God to complete the work He started in them. This is your test, chosen one. Can you forgive people who have not apologized? Can you release people who have not asked for release? Can you bless people who cursed you? This is where true spiritual maturity is proven. Not in how you handle your blessings, but in how you handle those who tried to block them. If you can find it in your heart to forgive, not for their sake, but for yours, you will experience a freedom that is indescribable. You will break every last chain that connected you to that season of pain. You will sever every spiritual tie that kept you looking back. You will step fully into the future God has prepared for you without any baggage from the past weighing you down. Forgiveness is not about them. It never was. It is about you refusing to let their actions have any more power over your peace. But forgiveness does not mean foolishness. You can forgive and still maintain boundaries. You can release them in your spirit and still keep them out of your space. You can pray for their healing without inviting them back into your life. Wisdom knows the difference between reconciliation and restoration. Some relationships are meant to be healed from a distance. Some people are meant to be loved from afar. And that is okay. God does not expect you to go back to what hurt you. He just expects you to not let it hurt you anymore. You have become something far more powerful than you realize, chosen one. You are no longer just surviving their attacks. You have transformed into a living testimony of what God can do with someone who refuses to quit. Your life is now a mirror that reflects truth back to everyone who looks at it. And for those who opposed you, that reflection is uncomfortable because it shows them everything they are not. It shows them the faith they lack, the perseverance they gave up on, the grace they refused to extend. This is not something you asked for, but it is something you have earned through your pain. Every tear you cried in secret has become a jewel in your crown. Every night you endured alone has become a thread in your testimony. Every moment you wanted to give up but did not has become evidence of divine strength working through human weakness. You are not just a survivor. You are a sign, a wonder, a walking miracle that God is using to speak to others who are watching from a distance. Your enemies see this, even if they do not have the language to articulate it. They see the light in you that used to irritate them, but now intimidates them. They see the peace that should not be possible after everything you went through. They see the joy that defies their understanding of how trauma works. And all of it points to something beyond you. It points to a source that sustained you when human strength would have failed. And that is what terrifies them most. Not you, but the God in you. You carry a sacred responsibility now, not to prove anything to them, but to remain faithful to the one who brought you through. Your life has become a message, and every decision you make either amplifies that message or muffles it. When you choose forgiveness, you preach. When you choose peace over pettiness, you testify. When you succeed with humility, you demonstrate the character of the one you serve. You are not just living for yourself anymore. You are living as a witness to divine faithfulness. This is why it is so important that you do not gloat in their silence. This is why you must resist the urge to throw your blessings in their faces. This is why you have to walk with grace, even when you have every right to walk with arrogance. Because the moment you become what they accused you of being, you dim the light that God placed in you. The moment you seek revenge, you step out of the divine story and into a human drama. And chosen ones do not belong in human dramas. You belong in divine narratives where God is the author and His glory is the ending. Your former enemies are watching you closer than you think. They are not just seeing your wins. They are studying how you win. They are not just noticing your peace. They are trying to figure out where it comes from. They are searching for cracks in your foundation, looking for signs that you are faking it. But when they find none, when they realize that your transformation is real and lasting, something happens in them. A seed is planted. A question forms. A curiosity awakens. Maybe, just maybe, there is something real about this God you serve. That is the long game God is playing. He is not just defending you. He is using your defense as a sermon to those who attacked you. He is turning your vindication into their invitation. He is transforming your testimony into their potential turning point. This is the compassion of God on display. He could destroy them, but instead, He is giving them a chance to see, to learn, and to change. And you, whether you realize it or not, are the instrument He is using to make that happen. This is why their silence is not just about fear. It is about fascination. It is about confusion mixed with curiosity. It is about resistance colliding with recognition. Part of them wants to stay in their old narrative where you were the villain and they were justified. But another part of them, the part that God is speaking to, knows better. That part is tired of fighting. That part is exhausted from carrying the weight of unforgiveness and bitterness. That part is ready for freedom. And you, by being who you are showing them what that freedom looks like. But let me be clear, you are not responsible for their transformation. You are only responsible for your own. You cannot force them to change. You cannot convince them to see the light. You cannot argue them into repentance. All you can do is continue to walk in your truth, continue to honor God with your choices, and continue to be a living example of grace in action. If they choose to learn from your life, that is between them and God. If they choose to remain in their bitterness, that is also between them and God. Your only job is to keep shining. And shine you must, because there are others watching too, not just your enemies, but people who are in the trenches right now, fighting battles similar to what you survived. They are looking for proof that it is possible to make it through. They need to see someone who walked through fire and came out smelling like roses. They need to witness a life that was attacked but not destroyed, wounded but not defeated, tested but not broken. You are that proof. You are that witness. You are that hope made visible. This is the privilege and the burden of being chosen. You do not get to hide. You do not get to play small. You do not get to shrink back into obscurity to avoid the spotlight. Your life is meant to be seen. Your story is meant to be told. Your testimony is meant to encourage others who are wondering if God still shows up for His people. And the answer, living and breathing in you, is yes. Yes, He does. Yes, He did. Yes, He will again. You are the evidence of His faithfulness walking around in human skin. So when you feel the weight of people's eyes on you, remember it is not about you. It is about what God is doing through you. When you sense the discomfort of your enemies watching your every move, understand they are not just watching you. They are watching to see if this God you serve is real. And every time you choose love over hate, every time you choose peace over chaos, every time you choose faith over fear, you are answering that question with your life. You are saying, without words, that He is real, He is present, and He is faithful. Your former adversaries are in a season of spiritual crisis. They are being confronted with the reality that they fought against the wrong person. They are wrestling with the truth that their motives were impure. They are facing the consequences of their actions in ways that are personal and penetrating. This is not a comfortable place to be, but it is a necessary place. Because transformation cannot happen without discomfort. Growth does not occur in ease. And God loves them enough to allow them to feel the weight of their choices so they can make better ones moving forward. And you, in your mercy, can pray for them, not from a place of superiority, but from a place of understanding. Because you know what it is like to be in a season of correction. You know what it feels like to be humbled by life. You know the pain of realizing you were wrong about something or someone, so you can extend the same grace to them that God extended to you when you needed it most. You can ask God to do for them what He did for you. Break them, heal them, and rebuild them into who they were always meant to be. You have become something far more powerful than you realize, chosen one. You are no longer just surviving their attacks. You have transformed into a living testimony of what God can do with someone who refuses to quit. Your life is now a mirror that reflects truth back to everyone who looks at it. And for those who opposed you, that reflection is uncomfortable because it shows them everything they are not. It shows them the faith they lack, the perseverance they gave up on, the grace they refused to extend. This is not something you asked for, but it is something you have earned through your pain. Every tear you cried in secret has become a jewel in your crown. Every night you endured alone has become a thread in your testimony. Every moment you wanted to give up but did not has become evidence of divine strength working through human weakness. You are not just a survivor. You are a sign, a wonder, a walking miracle that God is using to speak to others who are watching from a distance. Your enemies can see it, even if they lack the words to describe it. The light in you that once irritated them now intimidates them. They see a peace that makes no logical sense after all you endured, a joy that defies what trauma should have stolen. What unsettles them most isn't you, but the undeniable presence of God within you, the source who sustained you when strength should have failed. You now carry a sacred responsibility, not to prove your worth, but to remain faithful to the one who brought you through. Every choice you make preaches. Forgiveness becomes your sermon, humility your testimony, peace your pulpit. Your life itself is a message, a visible witness to divine faithfulness that speaks louder than words ever could. This is why you must walk in grace, even when arrogance feels justified. Gloating dims your light, and revenge drags you from divine narrative into human drama, a stage where chosen ones do not belong. Your enemies are watching closely, not just your victories, but the manner in which you win. They study your peace, searching for cracks in your transformation. Yet when they find none, curiosity awakens. Your steadfastness becomes their seed of conviction. In His compassion, God is turning your vindication into their invitation. Through your endurance, He's preaching to those who once opposed you, offering them redemption through your resilience. You are not just defended. You are being used as heaven's living sermon of mercy. Understand this: you are not responsible for their change, only for your consistency. Keep shining, keep honoring God, and let your life remain a living testimony of grace. Because others are watching too, people fighting their own unseen battles, searching for evidence that survival and restoration are possible. You are that proof, the one who walked through fire yet carries no smoke, who was wounded but not destroyed, tested but not broken. This is both the privilege and the burden of being chosen. Your story is meant to be seen. You are living, breathing evidence that God still restores, still redeems, still reigns. Shine boldly, chosen one. Your life is the sermon that proves His faithfulness. So when you feel the weight of people's eyes on you, remember it is not about you. It is about what God is doing through you. When you sense the discomfort of your enemies watching your every move, understand they are not just watching you. They are watching to see if this God you serve is real. And every time you choose love over hate, every time you choose peace over chaos, every time you choose faith over fear, you are answering that question with your life. You are saying, without words, that He is real, He is present, and He is faithful. Your former adversaries are in a season of spiritual crisis. They are being confronted with the reality that they fought against the wrong person. They are wrestling with the truth that their motives were impure. They are facing the consequences of their actions in ways that are personal and penetrating. This is not a comfortable place to be, but it is a necessary place, because transformation cannot happen without discomfort. Growth does not occur in ease, and God loves them enough to allow them to feel the weight of their choices so they can make better ones moving forward. And you, in your mercy, can pray for them, not from a place of superiority, but from a place of understanding. Because you know what it is like to be in a season of correction. You know what it feels like to be humbled by life. You know the pain of realizing you were wrong about something or someone. So you can extend the same grace to them that God extended to you when you needed it most. You can ask God to do for them what He did for you. Break them. heal them, and rebuild them into who they were always meant to be. You are finally free, chosen one. Free from the exhausting need to defend yourself and to explain your heart to those determined to misunderstand you. This freedom did not come from arguments won or points proven, but from surrendering the battle to God and trusting His way over yours. In His hands, vindication became transformation. You now walk in peace that words could never achieve, and in favor that fighting could never secure. True victory for a chosen one is quiet. It does not demand attention, yet it commands recognition. Even those who once doubted you now see the undeniable hand of God upon your life. This is not revenge. It is divine justice, the visible result of heaven's perfect accounting. You no longer need apologies, acknowledgments, or validation from anyone. God's confirmation outweighs human approval. He has declared you chosen, sealed your identity, and established your destiny beyond dispute. So keep walking, trusting that the best is still ahead. What you've experienced so far is only a preview of what's coming: greater abundance, deeper joy, and higher purpose. But don't camp in this moment of vindication. It's not the finish line, but a launching point. The valley trained you for the mountaintop. The battles refined the strength and wisdom you'll need for what's next. Your enemies didn't destroy you. They developed you. Every betrayal became a classroom, every lie a sharpening stone, every storm a strengthening wind. You are wiser, stronger, and unstoppable. Not by perfection, but by partnership with a God who cannot fail. Now shift your focus forward. Stop replaying old pain and start responding to new purpose. The past no longer deserves your attention. Your destiny does. Trust God with the full story, including the confusing, painful, and unfinished chapters. When surrendered, pain transforms into passion, wounds into wisdom, and loss into lessons. Nothing was wasted. Every experience built the foundation for the glory ahead. So rise boldly, live courageously, and walk unapologetically in your divine assignment. The world needs what you carry, the kingdom needs your obedience, and the next generation needs your example. You are living proof that faith triumphs, love wins, and those who trust in the Lord will never be put to shame. Walk like it. Shine like it. You are heaven's testimony in motion. Before we go, this is a spiritual moment where we invite you to like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And to conclude this moment, write in the comments, "I am the chosen one," and express your purpose aligned with God. Don't forget to check out the description of the powerful ebook created to further deepen your purpose and grow your life with prosperity. You heard this message for a reason, and this is your call to prosperity, where you will be guided towards financial abundance. The link is in the description and in the first comment. Furthermore, I want to express my immense gratitude to those who support us through Buy Me a Coffee. Your support keeps this channel spreading God's messages. If you would also like to support us, the link is below. Remember this: you are not walking this journey alone. God is with you. His angels are surrounding you. His favor is following you. And His plans for you are greater than any weapon formed against you. The silence of your enemies is not the end of the story. It is the beginning of a new chapter. A chapter where you walk in authority, operate in power, and manifest the fullness of everything God spoke over your life. This is your time. This is your season. And nothing, absolutely nothing, can stop what God has already set in motion. Go in peace, chosen one. Go in power. Go in the unshakable confidence that the God who brought you this far will never leave you nor forsake you. The best is yet to come, and it is going to be greater than anything you have seen before. So be it. Amen.